Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the most heated, controversial debates of all time between an orthodox, dogmatic, old school Christian versus me that really thinks that movies and films are the new church? Who do you think will win? Prepare the popcorn. This is going to get nasty. Welcome, my friend, to the most transformative podcast in the world. This is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge. The new church season 2 with your host, your favorite doctor of all time, Dr. Derek Israel, and this is the episode 566. And I'm a little bit upset because I already had like 20 minutes that I was recording this podcast. I was on fire, and then I have a technical difficulty, and now I'm starting again. But hey, this is life, right? Life is like this. Sometimes we just need to adapt and just create it again. So let's do it again. So first, what I want to say is that it is not my intention to offend no one with this podcast. The real reason why I am doing this kind of a debate, I am acting this debate, I am personifying these characters in this debate, is because I want to protect myself and also protect you, my audience, my listener, of boredom. I come here every day, I do an awesome subject, but sometimes it's kind of the same structure, it's kind of the same, blah, 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 blah. And I say, what can I do a little bit different? And I know that debates are one of the forms, a very old school form of transferring and transmitting and sharing knowledge. So I say, what if I kind of do a debate in my podcast in one side with a very old school Christian that probably you are not even like this. What I will be acting is kind of the ideal of the Orthodox Christian. Maybe you are a neo-Christian, you are more edgy, you are more new, maybe you are more open-minded, and maybe you believe in Jesus, but you know that maybe Buddhists they have a point, Muslims they have a point. Maybe you are like that, and that's so cool, man. But not everyone is like that. So I want to bring here the extreme of extremes, the Christians that they really think that nothing else is true. All right. So I don't want to offend you. If you cannot stand this podcast, well, maybe this is not for you. Um, Also, I want to share what is the principal premise or hypothesis of this podcast. It is the following. The hypothesis is that in a world full of creatures that need meaning in their life, films or movies today provides more meaning than the church. That is the hypothesis. In other words, films or movies are the new church. That is the hypothesis. Now, we're gonna test this. We are going to debate this. So be cool with it. Don't be alarmed. Stop being defensive. Let's make the art and then you take your final conclusion. Okay. So, from where I got this idea? I got this idea from a brilliant thinker. His name is Jason Silva. You should be following this guy specifically on YouTube. He has a channel that is called Shots of Awe. You can follow that. You can follow him on Instagram, Jason Silva. You can follow him on Facebook as well. And this guy, he's a philosopher. He makes movies, specifically short movies. Um, and he's also a merger between technology and spirit. And he also a psychedelic advocate. So this is a very interesting modern philosopher. And he say that films and movies are the new church. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then he said, yes, because if you go open to the theaters, if you watch a movie with openness of heart, like to receive wisdom, you are doing the same effect that people that go to church, you are experiencing the same. You are experiencing the mythopoetic, kind of the spiritualized subjective reality that you can experience in the church. But you need to go with these intentions to the movies. You need to go with this receptiveness. So I made my experiment, and since I heard that, I have been watching movies with this mindset that I'm going to receive the truth. When people go to church work. What? But why they work? Why church work? Because people believe that it is, uh, whatever is expressed through the priest's mouth, it is the truth. And because they believe it is the truth, they actualize the truth. I am not saying that church do not work. Church work, but works because you believe a lot in that. But when you are watching a movie, for example, you are watching Titanic or you are watching Avengers, you are like, well, I know that this is fake, right? So you are not in the same vibe. You are not with the same openness. So you say, oh, these are actors, they get paid for this. Yes, yes, yes. So this is only a movie, but it's not only a movie. It is a spiritual experience. It is an art form that is made to revolutionize your consciousness, but only will work if you open your mind to receive the wisdom of a movie, of a film, of a moving picture. So, what is the direct challenge for you that you are maybe doing the Mastermind Podcast Challenge every day, Monday through Friday, here with me about personal development, spiritual expansion, and business, a little bit of business here and there? Well, here's the thing. I want you to start going to the movies or maybe just on Netflix and having the exact mindset that you will have if you are going to receive a spiritual wisdom. I want you to be open for it. I want you to surrender to the experience. I want you to be merged with the myth that is portrayed in the movie. And I want you to be open to receive transformation. If you do that for the rest of your life, you will have a new tool in your personal development box. And that tool is called movies. Movies are the same as books in this realm of personal development. Like, I prefer books, but movies are the same. They are stories that can transform your life, but only if you learn how to receive their wisdom. And that is what we are going to try to do in this debate. So in one side of this debate, I will have this Orthodox Christian that I will be personifying, and the other side, I will be just being myself. All right. So let's go. Open your heart, open your mind, and open your notebook, because we are going to start the most controversial debate ever. All right. So let's go. And the Christian says, oh my God, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. I cannot even believe that I am in this debate, but I will do it. My friends, behold, I will do it for God. Hey, man, I will do it for God. I will sacrifice this psychologist, this fool, in front of his own audience. I will embarrass him because I will demonstrate that films are just films. Nothing against them, but they cannot be compared to the church. That is just evil. That is the devil's work. Because you know what, Derek? Films are not real. Only the Bible is real. That's why this doesn't make any sense. Okay, my friend, okay. That is your opinion, but hey, I really struggle with this word real that you are using to try to demonize films in contrast or in comparison to the church, because what is real? You know, the word real is a weapon. Never forget this. The politicians use this weapon. Oh my God, only my political party will bring the real change. You know, the news, the media, oh, we are the only newspaper that can that provide real information to the audience, blah blah blah. The church, this is the truth. This is the only real philosophy of the world. Every time that you hear the word real, you know that that person probably he doesn't know what he's talking about, because what is real? What is real? How do you define real? Because to something to be real, for something to be real, it is always subjective and is always under the terms of human perception and human belief. And what do you think it is real and not real? And what language do you have in order to understand different type of realities? And what culture do you have that sustain that reality, although maybe socially constructed? So what is real then? You said that the Bible is real and the films are not real. Then define what is real. Is this sticky note real? What do you think? Is this sticky note real or is not real? Well, it depends. Because real is really, the word real is really very, very, very vague and a very subjective thing. Because you can say this is a sticky note, but I can say, no, this is not a sticky note. That is not real. That is energy. This is energy. This is not a sticky note. Or I can say, this is just atoms, atoms that are merging to each other, and they are composing this thing that we can call sticky note. But really, this is not a sticky note. This is atoms. Just look. And you may say, oh, no, no, no. You are just changing the language. It is real. It is a sticky note. It is a real sticky note because it is a paper that you can stick on a wall. You can stick this. That's why it is a sticky note. Okay. But what if I take this other paper? This is a kind of an index card. If I put some glue here and I can also stick this paper on any wall, is this then a real sticky note? Because you already said that it's a sticky note because it's a paper with glue. Well, this is a paper with glue. Is this a sticky note or is it in this card? What is real? If you go with this sticky note that you say is a real sticky note to Africa, to a jungle in Nigeria, in Africa, to a jungle, and you say to that people, what is this? Well, what they will say, if this is a real sticky note, they will say it is a sticky note, or they will say that this is something else. What if they take this sticky note and they clean their ass with this sticky note? Is this then a sticky note, or is this just toilet paper? What is real? Is the function of this sticky note what makes it real? What defines its reality? Or is just the brand, the company that made the sticky note, what define the reality of the sticky note? Interesting philosophical question. So if it is the brand what defines the reality, well, then the church is the one that is defining the reality of the Bible, because the church is kind of the company that promotes and markets the Bible and the whole Catholic Christian philosophy. So what if a movie producer called his movie also real? Why the church has more reality than the movie producer that is marketing his movie as the reality? What makes the church more real then? More with more legitimization, with more authority. Who gave that authority? Well, God gave that authority. What God? The God that you say is real? What is real? So you say that this God is real. And what about Allah? Is Allah real? Because the Muslim think that he's the real God. Or is Ra the real God? The old Egyptian god Ra, the god of the sun. Is him real? No, he's not real. Only my God is real. Only the Catholic Church God is real. And we can continue this forever, right? So the whole point here, folks, is that to say that only God or only the church or only the movies or only whatever thing in life is real is a trap. Reality is something that is very, very connected to consciousness and very connected to the person that is observing that reality, defining that reality, and actualizing that reality in their multiverse. That is a spiritual truth. And be careful. I just said that is truth. What is truth? But I just want you to notice. All right, let's continue the debate. Okay. Let's say that we can define reality, whatever, but look at this, young doctor. Films may be unreal or real, but Jesus, hey man, Jesus is the only and truthful hero of the story and therefore of the world. He's the only real hero. And that is a perfect point. You are right. I don't differ. Jesus is kind of one of the most potent heroes of the entire human history. And when I'm saying hero, I'm referring to the archetype of the hero. I will be doing an episode soon about the archetype of the hero. But if maybe you are familiarized with the hero's journey, I have some Spanish episode about the hero's journey, el viaje del héroe, si lo quieres buscar en YouTube. So, yes, I know Jesus is a hero, but also you know who is a hero? Goku. Yes, Goku. Goku of Dragon Ball, the series, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I am a fanatic of Dragon Ball. And sometimes I have a struggle when I want to talk about Jesus in my life because I believe in Jesus. I'm a spiritual man. And sometimes when I want to talk about Jesus, I, by mistake, say Goku. I will say like, okay, so then when Goku died on the cross, and I'm like, what? Oh, Jesus. So I start meditating back in the day about why I say Goku instead of Jesus sometimes. And I realize they are the same. Jesus, Goku, Superman, Iron Man, Simba of Lion King. What else? What other movie? Harry Potter. They are all the same. They are the hero of their own story. And you know who is the real hero? It's not Jesus or Harry Potter or Goku. The real hero is the person that is observing the art, that is observing the movie, that is interpreting the story, that is activating the hero's archetype in their psyche. That is the real hero. Jesus, Goku, all of those are just representations of the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is you was born as a very small thing like Jesus, surrounded by animals, surrounded by poverty, surrounded by nothing, right? And also Goku was like that. Hari was like that. You know, he got his dad and his mother killed by Voldemort, aka Satan, Lucifer, the same thing, the shadow. And the story of the hero is how he transformed itself into becoming God, into becoming the savior of the world, into becoming the one that assumed the responsibility, aka Spider-Man, assumed the responsibility of his own powers. And we can call that the hero's journey because he will struggle, you know, with the cross. He will have some problems, he will have some failures. All the stories are the same. This is the hero's story. So the church is a very good representation of the hero story, the story about you, the story about how you become from being just a little ego to become a transcendental function, an enlightened man or woman, a man of the heavens, a woman of the heavens. That is the story of the church. But that is exactly the story of Dragon Ball. It is the same. And now the new kids are learning more from this type of series, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Pokemon Go, whatever, than the church because they get bored in the church because it's outdated. They haven't actualized too much their processes, right? They have a little bit, but not too much. Like if I go to a church today, I get bored sometimes because I know that it's kind of lame and meaningless. Sometimes when they are saying, they say things, but they don't know really what they say. At least in movies, they're in their own world, they are in their own fantasy. So things make sense only in that movie. But that movie locks in itself the structure of the hero's journey, exactly what the Bible do. So you can read the Bible and transcend, and you can just watch Harry Potter and transcend. It's the same. So because movies are more kind of a modern thing, more special effects and stuff like that, I say, hey, movies are the new church because they are both the hero's journey. Okay, man, but only Jesus and the church can give you the deepest teachings and truths of life. Forget about the hero's journey. Let's just focus on the deepest metaphysical truths of life. Only the church can give that to you. Well, if you have that perception, I don't know, but I really believe that the deepest metaphysical truths of life, they are principles. They are principles. So if they are principles of life, of how we can live, what is this all about? What is the relation between man to the world, man to God? If really we have strong principles of this nature, they should be in everything, not only in the church. If they are only in the church, only in a specific church, they are not principles, because then the principle will be the church and not the philosophy. So the philosophy is what really matters. The church is only an institution, a social network that is organized to transmit the principle. Can we agree with that? Yeah, I can agree with that, right? But if we say that the church is not the principle and the principle is other thing, then that other principle can be also found in other mediums that are not only the church. Mediums as music, for example. Can you find some metaphysical, spiritual, transcendental principles in music? Yes or no? What do you think? Also, you can find them in books, other books. Can you find a principle reading Shakespeare, reading Don Quixote, reading uh, Genji, or reading the Quran? Can you find principles there? I'm pretty sure that you can if you really go open-minded. Can you find principles in TV shows? Can you find the principles in what else? In politics, in history, in philosophy, in mathematics, in geometry? Can you find principles in cosmology, in psychology? Yes, you can find the principles because they are principles. By definition, they come first than anything else. So church have good metaphysical principles, but also the movies, they can transmit those. So you can understand the principles of reality if you watch a very good movie with a very open heart. Okay, but listen to this, you fucking demon. Oh my God, now this Christian is getting crazy, right? Look at this. Only the church can give you a sublime, deep, and transcendental experience. That is something that you cannot do on movies. What? Dude, what? The whole point of movies, listen to this is gonna change your life and how you approach movies. The whole purpose of movies is to give you a mytho-poetical experience that change the status or your state of consciousness. So if you only can receive transcendental experiences in the church, is because you are closed in other areas of your life, because the church can give you that. Yes, it can. I am not debating that. It can. But also the mythopoetic stuff, the archetypal stuff that is needed for you to grow, to expand in your spirit, that is also on movies as well. Because when you are on movies, you are restructuring the myth of your life. That is what we call mythopoetic. And I will be doing an episode only on this idea about becoming more mythopoetic. Because when you are mythopoetic, you are not thinking with logic or with rationality. You are not analyzing the thing. Like if you was reading a newspaper. If you're reading a newspaper, you are analyzing the thing. You are analyzing the numbers. You are analyzing the opinion. But when you are watching, for example, Monster Inc., the movie, or you are watching The Northman, one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion, or you are watching Game of Thrones, right? You are immersed in the drama, in the trauma, and you are immersed in the myth. You are not analyzing, oh, that dragon of the Game of Thrones, he has 3 legs. How it is possible that he has 3 legs? Oh, you are not doing that. You are, oh my God, oh, come on, dragon, come on, you can be the king of the world, because you are talking about yourself. Just notice, you are promoting the dragon because the dragon is yourself. You are the hero. You are projecting your hero-ness in the movie. The movie is showing you the type of hero that you can be. And that merging of your consciousness with the content of the movie in an archetypal medium and dynamic that is developing on your psyche, that we call mythopoetic, because it's a myth that is based on poetry, not in rationality, that is changing the structure of how you think. The same that happened when you open the Bible and you go into a trance and you are not thinking, oh, but that doesn't make any sense. Why, if you sacrifice a sheep, why you will have this benefit, right? If you're analyzing, that doesn't make any sense. But you don't need to analyze the Bible. You need to live it. You need to be open and receive the wisdom. And then if you open and receive the wisdom, you say, oh my God, if I sacrifice a sheep, I will get God. And you understand it in a very deep way. Because it's not about sacrificing an animal. It's about giving something for other thing. It's about business in metaphysics. It's about negotiating with God. This is what it's all about in those stories about the sacrifice. It's not about sacrificing. It's about understanding the power of sacrifice itself. So movies can give you that transcendental, deep, sublime experience if you are immersed on it. If you are not thinking, I am here and the movie is there. If you are just being with the movie. If you are just the movie. If your ego collapse and you just let that images reconfigure your psychology, reconfigure. Sorry guys, I lost my audio. I'm here back. If you reconfigure the relationship between yourself and the spirit through the story of the movie, you can have exactly the same sublime transcendental experience with movies that you have in the church. Okay, that is very important. Okay, all right, enough of those big words, mythopoetic, blah, blah, blah. Forget about this. Listen to this. Listen to this. Come on. Come on, church. Come on, church. Give me the power. Let's destroy these satanic psychologists that have a demonic body, a demonic rabbit in his logo. Let's destroy this enemy. Look at this, you young doctor. The church offers a real community. Something that movies do not. How can you say now what you can say now? That is the fucking problem, dude. You are just mentioning not the problem of movies or films. You're mentioning the problem of the church. What is the problem of the church? That people, most people, not everyone, but most people, and even if you are into the church, you can kind of agree with this one. Most people go to the church not for the spiritual factor or benefits. They go for their social factors and benefits. So then the church, it is not more spiritual than the movie, because if you observe how people interact in church, they are going because one, they are afraid of other people, what they will say if they miss church. That is a social motivator. It is not a spiritual motivator. Or maybe they want to see their best friend, or maybe they want to talk with the priest, not because they want a relationship with God. No, they want to talk with the priest. They have the connection, they have the social need. Nothing bad with it. But when you confuse the real meaning of the church versus the community of the church, you're done. You are forever in the church paradigm and you are getting away of God. Because if you really want to know God, you don't need no one for that. You don't need a community for that. You don't need support for that. What support have Jesus? Jesus has support. Yes, he have how many? 12 guys that follow him around and help him. But that was only after he got enlightened, only after he was one with God. Before that, he was meditating on the desert, what we call the lost years of Jesus. We hypothesize that he was alone, meditating, looking for God in different paradigms, in different areas. He was not socializing. He was not talking with other person and then say I am the son of the God. No, he found God in his own soul. Sometimes people depends on the church to find God, but they cannot find God in their bedroom. So what type of church is that? That is a very bad church. It's a church based on social programming, not in spiritual wisdom. The real church will say, forget about it, man. You don't need to come here every Sunday to follow God. You can do it in your bedroom. Right? That is the real church. That is the spiritual aspect. But most people go to church for the social aspect, and that is just crazy. And yes, I can agree. Yes, I suppose that we have forums for movie fans, and we have communities like people that likes comics. They go to those comic cons and stuff like that. We have communities of movies. I don't pertain to any of those. But I don't think it is a failure of the movie industry or the films industry to not have that social factor on it so much, because they are more focused in the mythopoetic aspect of movie watching, and that for that you don't need another person to do it. You just put the movie, watch the movie, get immersed in the movie, and your life will change. You don't need an old man to hug. Oh, I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And you don't need to grab the hands of other people to sing in order to feel that you are connected with God, only because you are connected with other social beings, and because you are a social animal, you will produce happy chemicals in your brain and in your nervous central system. You will produce happy chemicals because you are socially involved, and not because you are spiritually involved, and not because you are one with God, just because you are having fun with friends, and you call that church and salvation and the truth. So watch out. Watch out. Okay. Forget about community. That is secondary. That is secondary. Look at this. Look at this. Jesus, through his church, is the only one that offers salvation. How can you debate that, huh? What the hell is salvation, man? you know, what the hell is salvation? It's the same with reality. What is real? Let me tell you what, for me, Derek Israel, this is a personal opinion. After studying hundreds of different religions, hundreds of different spiritual systems, and practicing them all, not every system that exists, but at least every system that I have studied, I have practiced a little bit of it. This is my conclusion of what is salvation. Salvation is not going to heaven as a place or a time, right? It's not like you're gonna die, you're gonna be saved, and you're gonna go to a place to be devoting God. For me, that is just a representation of what is salvation, exactly as the world of the movie Avatar is a representation of salvation as well. Or maybe what other, maybe this movie, how it's called, Narnia. Heaven is exactly as Narnia. The movie Narnia, they got into a closet and they reach another place, and in another time, another dimension, the heaven is the same. It's a representation. But what really is salvation? What is the experience of salvation? Well, in my experience and in my subjective multiverse, for me, salvation is to be enlightened and to be present and to be able to love at your maximum capacity. If you do that, you are in heaven every time of your life. You don't need to die to be on heaven. You are on heaven every time that you conquer your ego, and you love your ego until he's dead. And when your ego is dead, what remains only God, the presence, the observant, the love, consciousness. To be saved is to be all conscious, right? Because you are only saved from your ego and from your shadow, from Satan, from the dark forces. So to be able to integrate those forces into your consciousness and to expand your consciousness in a way that encompasses everything that there is, and you can love everything that there is, because love is the substance of reality and compassion is how that love is activated. And if you can live that way in your present moment, then you are saved. You don't need to go to the church for being saved. Most people that go to the church, they are judgers, not lovers. They are judging this, judging that, judging the woman that have two boyfriends, judging the woman that aborted their son, judging the man that is gay, judging. What the hell is that saved? That is saved? That is to be fuck up. That is not safe. That is not salvation. That is not consciousness. That is not multi perspectivality on reality. That is not holisticity of understanding. That is not an integrated wisdom. That is just a partial ego that think that is spiritual, but it's just an ego. Exactly as the devil. The devil is an ego that thinks he's spiritual. So most people in church, they are criticizing the devil, and they are the devil. Ah, no, no. Look at this, man. What you are telling, this is the work of evil, definitely, and we know it. You will see the comments, Derek. You will see all the people that are behind me. They know that you are a possessed man. And look this point, man. The church is older than the movies, right? That proves its superiority because it's older. Therefore, we are superior. Well, you're right. Movie series are very, very modern technology. You know, I think that we started doing movies like in the 60s or the 50s, like when we have the technology to put one image in the side of another image, and we call that moving pictures. And that is a movie. It's different frames of a picture, of a photo, basically, that is giving you the perception that it's moving because it's changing all the time in a very rapid fashion, the image, right? And that is a very current technology. I understand that. But what is the essence of movies? The real essence is not the moving pictures. No. The real essence is the theater. When you're watching a movie, you know that some people are acting. And even if it's a movie about cartoons, it's an act. It's something that is based on fantasy. And theater is something that is old as the church. Like theater didn't begin with the Greeks and with comedy, tragedy. No. Theater began with the shamanic tradition. And the shamanic tradition is older than the church because shamans, they still do. Like, but back in the day, if you imagine a shamanic community, a tribe, right? A primitive tribe, they acted as animals. Like they dance like the snake when they want to invocate the snake. They act like the birds, like the frogs. They did that theater as a spiritual manifestation. So theater, the ability to act, the ability to get out of yourself and be another thing for a couple of moments with a certain intention, maybe to entertain, maybe to invoke, maybe to for the art, that is older than church. And you are right. Movies as an expression of that art, they are newer. But sometimes to be more new, it doesn't mean that you are worse than the old. Sometimes the new is the best. Sometimes the old is the best. So it's kind of relative. But I just want you to know that to act, that is an old thing. It's older than the church. So the substance of the movies, it is not new. It is the principle of reality. It is the ability to get out of ourselves to be what we are supposed to be. And what is the church? That is the real essence of the church. When you get out, when you take out the social part of it, the economical part of it, the political part of it, because the church is is an institution that have political power, economical power as well. When you analyze the church in his primal element, we are talking about an institution that is formed in order for you to become something more greater than you actually are through the word of God. Definitely, that is the medium they use, specifically the Christian God. But movies and films and the church have the same objective. They both want you to become more than you are, to become better, to become a more moral being, to become not moral like in a fixed morality, but in character, like to develop more character, to develop more integrity. For more information about that, go to derekisrael.com and search my course on integrity. Will change your life. So yeah, definitely, they are both the same, and they're both very old. So that's why, if you prefer movies, well, movies then can be your real church. If you prefer church, that's good. But other people can prefer movies, and they are actually in church. But Jesus is the only perspective that counts. Derek. Therefore, if you integrate the perspective of Jesus, you are completely realized. You see, you don't need to watch 1 million of movies, Derek. You only need to understand Jesus. If you only understand Jesus, you are done. But if you go to the path of the movies, as you are saying, you will be watching movie after movie, movie after movie, and you will never get to the truth. So just keep that. Go directly to Jesus, understand Jesus, and you will be saved. That's it. And look, I agree with you, man. I agree with you in this one. But there's only one problem, that people don't understand that Jesus is love. Really, Jesus is love. When we think about Jesus, we think about a man or a prophet or a historical man or just a symbolic man. But when I think about Jesus, because I really have a direct experience with Jesus, I think about love. It is only love. That's it. Love is Jesus. Even if, just try this, read the Bible. And every time that you see the word Jesus, you will change that word for love. And then read the sentence again. Let me just do a quick exercise. I will just Google a Bible random Jesus kind of a random story about Jesus in the Bible. Let's see what come here. I want just to read something. Okay, so here, Isaiah 7:14, the birth of Jesus. If you only read that in a literal sense, it doesn't make any fucking sense. You need to understand. You need to read that at this form. The birth of love. Now you are getting more wisdom about of 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 what really Jesus mean. Let me just bring another one. Jesus is cleansing the temple. Matthew 21:12. Love is cleansing the temple. So by loving, you purify. Interesting, right? Let's see. Jesus, this is Luke 24:36. Jesus chose his wounds. Love chose his wounds, right? Love is vulnerability. So when you are loving, you are exposed to wounds. The resurrected Jesus Christ, the resurrected love consciousness, because this is the other thing. You also need to substitute Christ for consciousness, and you will have the entire context of the Bible. And I will be doing an episode about Christ consciousness very soon, with this point more discussed. But just notice the resurrected love consciousness, or love in consciousness. Notice how that is more powerful than just reading the resurrected Jesus Christ. So, anyways, that is just my point. But yes, if you really understand love, you're done. I agree with that. Not Jesus, but love. Because if you only understand Jesus, you're only understanding a man, a story, a book, a perspective that is partial. He has an ego, he has an identity, he has bias, and that is not universal. But love is universal. So if you understand love, you understand everything. But that is the real challenge, because most people, one, doesn't know that Jesus is love literally, and two, it's very difficult to be one with love. Like, it's very difficult. That is the whole path of spirituality. Like, almost no one can achieve it. So that's why films are good, because in films, you need to understand also something about them, is that every character that you see on a film, on a movie, they are all you. They are all an aspect of your psyche, an aspect of your personality, even the villain. Like, if you're watching the movie of Batman, you are not only Batman, you are also the Joker. And movies can give you this spiritual perspective, because you can watch a movie, a multiverse in a movie, from different perspectives. You can watch the perspective of the Joker, and in that sense, you can integrate the shadow part of you. Then you can watch the perspective of the Batman. Then you can watch the perspective of the Batwoman. How she's called? The Bat Chick or something like that? Batty Chick? Or Robin. You can see the perspective of Robin. You can see the perspective of Ron Weasley, Hermione, Harry, or Voldemort, or Dumbledore, or Snape, and you are all of them. All movies, what they are really are, is consciousness trying to get more whole through the drama. Just understand that. There's no bad people in movies. There's no good ones. It's the same as the WWE. If you watch wrestling, there's no bad and good. We kind of categorize them as bad or good, as rude or technical, but they are just consciousness trying to evolve into unity again. Because if you really think about the perspective of Roman Reigns, for example, in the WWE universe, you will find that he has some truth. But then if you go to Drew McIntyre is like kind of the baby face, the hero of the WWE. You understand that he also has some truth, because you are both. You are Reigns and you are McIntyre. You are the villain and you are the hero. You are the bad guy, the murderer. You are Chucky in Chucky, and also you are the one that Chucky is killing, because everything is consciousness. And a movie is just a representation of consciousness, and how consciousness get into a conflict, we call that trauma, and then resolve into love, and in a better order, in a more sophisticated way of being, and that we call evolution or spiritual progress. And every time that you watch a movie, that dynamics are parallel. So you are watching a movie, and the dynamics that is going on in the movie is going on in your mind as well. It's a parallelism. It's a correspondence principle between the movie and your psyche and your archetypes. So you are Voldemort as well as Harry. So that is the special thing about a movie. You can watch infinite perspectives. You can put yourself in different shoes and to integrate different aspects of reality as a whole in a very holistic way. Only by understanding Jesus, you will have one perspective. If you understand love and consciousness, then you can actually do this with church. But how many people really are all lovable, all conscious in church? One of 1,000? One of 1 million? So that's why maybe watching movies is a more intelligent spiritual technology than going to church. This is gonna be my last point because I'm really tired of this. You are not convincing me. I will still be going to church, and now I will not even watch movies anymore because I understood with this debate that movies are evil, right? So this is my last point, and I'm going back to my church, and I will forget forever this debate. And this is the point, and you cannot debate this, man. Movies are a business for profit, for money, and not for service. That's why the church is more spiritual, because we are not a business. What? What? He really said that? What? Dude, the church is one of the greatest business in the world. It have a very strong model, business model. We all know that. The church influenced business, the church influenced politics, the church is involved in the law of society, the church is involved in media, the church is involved in wealth. Or do you think that the Pope is poor? Do you think that the Pope have hunger, is hungry right now? No, the church is a business. It's a very profitable business. Now, what I can agree is that some church, they do a lot of community service, and that is awesome. I need to give that to them. And when I see movies, I don't see them doing a lot of community service. Like, for example, if you watch NBA, for example, the national basketball sport on the United States, you will see that the players, they do a lot of community service because the organization demands that you need to do that. Also in WWE, they do it, and they contribute to the community. When you see a movie, sometimes they roll the movie and that's it, and then they go to the premiere and that's it. Like, they don't get involved helping the community too much. Maybe they do it sometimes, but it's not a thing. It's not kind of a cultural thing. It's not like all the Avengers, every time that they do a movie, they do like 4 or 5 community work days, and they, help people with cancer, and they may do it sometimes, but it's not a thing. So yes, I think that movies should be more service orientated, more also, I understand that they need to drive profit, but they can do more. They can do more as service for the best of the world, for improving the world, but also never confuse church with selflessness, because church is a profitable business, and church have egoic interest, and that is just the story of the church. You cannot debate that. Just read the story of the church. Always have been involved in business, politics, money, watching money laundry. That is the church. So, what is the conclusion then of this debate? The conclusion, you can make your own conclusion. But my conclusion is that films are the new church, because I demonstrated here films have a lot of spiritual values and a lot of spiritual anchors, same as the church. I'm not saying that the church do not have those, but hey, sometimes to watch a movie is more convenient, it's more entertaining, and it's more edge. Like, it is in the edge, it is in the modern times. So for me, I think that Jason Silva is right. Movies is the new church, and that's it. That is my conclusion. You can give and you can share your conclusion on the description, or sorry, on the comment section. And this is really a debate. Like I did both, but I really gave my best to give the points that I think that the church will do. Like I was not that biased in that sense, but definitely I need to acknowledge that at the end of the day, there was a monologue, and maybe you have other points. If you can share them in the comment section, I will be answering you. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I am biased. I am not perfect. I have a lot of errors on my thinking sometimes. I acknowledge that. So, hey, help me to do this better. Write some comments about your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think that films and movies are the new church, or do you think that that is a crazy idea? Just comment below and share this with your friends, share this with the church, share this with everyone that you know in your social media. That really really help. Remember that we are also on Patreon. The link is in the description, and with Patreon you can donate only $5 per month, and with that donation you help us to continue to be a free podcast that helps thousands of lives around the world for free. And also remember that we are on the chat on Telegram, and that chat is free. If you want to join, you can chat with us about personal development and all the techniques that we are conducting. And I want just to remind you that I have 80% off. Sorry, 80, not 85, but 80% off. My new course is on a pre-sale about hyper productivity, unleashing the beast. So if you are a visionary, that you have a big project on mind and you want to materialize that project very quick, let me help you. I will make you to be hyper productive. That is to produce things in a very rapid fashion because you are urgent. You need to get this done. And I know all the hacks to make this done because I have been hyper productive for the last 6 years. So I know exactly what you need to do. And today, if you buy today that course, you go with 80% off. And remember, my friend, enjoy the new church. Enjoy.